I had both hands on the mooring line before I knew which sentry had caught me. The rope was as thick as my wrist, slick with rain, and alive with strain as sailors. And I heaved against a flagship dragging sideways across Portsmouth harbour. Wind punched the breath out of me, spray hit like thrown gravel. Somewhere in the dark, a mast cracked like a cannon shot, and every man on the quay flinched because we all knew what came next. "Pull!" I shouted, though the storm swallowed the word at once. Boots skidded over flooded planks. A lantern spun past me, smashed, and vanished under black water. The ship's hull loomed out of the night, rising and dropping, its rigging shrieking as it yawed broadside toward the harbour wall. For one heartbeat, the line held. Then it jerked so violently that 2 sailors were thrown to their knees, and a third slammed into a bollard hard enough to go still. I wrapped the rope around the post, felt the fibres burn through my palms, and looked up just in time to see the flagship smash into a smaller vessel with a hideous groan of splintering oak. The impact rolled through the harbour like thunder. Men vanished between the hulls. One desperate hand appeared in the foam, then was gone. And yet, through all that chaos, I noticed something that did not belong to any ordinary storm. Beyond the docks, inland and high against the blackness, a pale rhythmic pulse flashed through the rain. Not lightning, too regular. Worse, the fiercest gusts seemed to arrive with it, as if some unseen conductor were beating time for the wind itself. A harbour officer crashed into me and bawled that the outer moorings had failed. Another warship was loose. Behind him, the harbour was coming apart. Shattered spars, torn sailcloth, coils of line whipping like snakes, surf hurling wreckage against stone. This was not a storm one endured from behind shutters. This was ruin grinding through one of the kingdom's greatest naval anchors. Only then did history lock into place in my mind. Portsmouth, southern England, November 1703. I had arrived in the Great Storm, one of the most violent tempests ever recorded on these coasts. It devastated towns, stripped roofs from houses and churches, hurled down trees by the thousand, and turned the channel into a graveyard. Across southern England, people would wake, if they woke at all, to streets erased, walls collapsed, and ships scattered like toys. For the Royal Navy, the disaster was catastrophic. Entire warships were lost. Hundreds upon hundreds of sailors were drowned, crushed, or swept into darkness. In a harbour like Portsmouth, where naval power gathered in proud concentration, the scale of that loss became terribly visible. I wish I could say my role there was simply to witness and remember. It was not. I had seen signs like that inland pulse before. In 1712, I found machinery tampering with forces no engineer of the age should have understood. In 1799, I encountered another experiment, different in shape but identical in ambition, to seize natural systems and bend them toward human design. Both incidents hinted at the same hidden hand, patient and secretive, testing ideas centuries ahead of schedule. Now, with Portsmouth breaking apart around me, I feared I was looking at an earlier trial. A lighthouse keeper, drenched to the bone and carrying a hooded lamp, stumbled along the quay with 2 sailors at his side. He was trying to direct men away from a collapsing seawall, but even over the gale, I caught one phrase clearly. The flashes had been seen from the coastal light for the better part of an hour. That changed everything. Survival was no longer the whole puzzle. I needed to know whether this monstrous storm was purely nature at its most savage, or whether someone had reached into the sky and made it worse. When the next gust hit, it came in a brutal, almost measured burst. I felt it, counted it, and frowned. Storm winds vary wildly. These arrived with a pattern. As the line crews scattered from another crashing hull, I saw something glinting in the wash at my feet. A fragment of worked brass where only shattered dock iron ought to have been. I bent, snatched it from the freezing water, and stared.